Namaste and welcome back to next episode of Human Behind Healer. I am your host for today's episode. My name is Shreya Givali, a BSc Nursing second year student currently studying in BP Koirala Institute of Health Sciences. And today in this episode we will be diving deep into a topic and subject that touches many hearts and lives. Cancer, healing and the silent warrior who walk beside us throughout the journey. Doctors. And for today's episode we have a guest who is a true beacon of hope. She is not only a specialized oncologist but also a passionate clinician and a compassionate researcher. She has experience of over 5 years working in medical oncology, basically renowned for working in gastrointestinal cancer and breast cancer, currently working in BP Koirala Institute of Health Sciences and has received many awards and prestigious recognitions including ASCO Merit Award, UICC Fellowship Award, 2023 Conquer Cancer, Global Oncology Young Investigator Award, and currently renowned as a winner of SBO Golden Apple Award. Let's welcome Dr. Sonia Dulal, DM in Medical Oncology and MD in Internal Medicine. It's an honor to have you today.
Thank you so much.
Before starting, I have already introduced you, but our audience would love to get your introduction from yourself.
So myself, I'm Dr. Sonia Dulal, currently working at Internal Medicine Department at BP Koirala Institute of Health Science, Dhara, Nepal. To introduce myself, I was born and brought up in Kathmandu, and I did my schooling from Kathmandu and then completed my medical school and post-graduation in internal medicine from Kathmandu Medical College, which is in Sinamangal. And then I completed my DM in medical oncology from NAMS Beer Hospital. And then I'm working here for last 5 years as a medical oncologist.
So, Dr. Dulal, let's begin with something interesting. You have just been renowned as a winner of SPO Golden Apple Award. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And how does it feel to receive the award? And how do you think has it impacted you and your life lately, both personally and professionally?
Thank you again for the question. Um, so receiving Health Volunteer Overseas Award, which is really a very prestigious international award. But to begin with, like whenever I have worked or I start working, I never expect the outcome of my own work. So receiving this award has been very much unexpected for me. So actually, this award, I received this award on behalf of Health Volunteer Overseas for my contribution in addressing the global health disparities and working in resource limited settings like in Eastern Nepal. So this award is not only a personal milestone but is a milestone as a whole. Working with the team, I really would like to thank for the tremendous support from my colleague, my team support, like my residents, students and nursing staffs and all the other staffs who really helped me throughout my journey. Um, so how does it impact to me personally as well as professionally? So that's a very difficult question. It actually has motivated me to work and achieve the SBO's mission in my upcoming days in my professional journey, and personally it has motivated me to balance my work and personal life and devote and focus more on my professional life as well.
So now let's talk about your journey. You have started your journey in a place where both emotional and intellectual demand is really high. And what encourages you to pursue this journey, especially in a healthcare landscape like Nepal?
Okay, so choosing a medical oncology specialties, that's what you mean to ask me. In Nepal. So after I completed my PG, MD in internal medicine, I started working in this turn Nepal only. So then what I realized is that being an internist, my knowledge and skill is still incompetent. Whenever I used to encounter the cancer patients, either in an early stage or at the late stage, mostly at the late stage, I I felt myself that I'm incompetent to treat them. I am incompetent different to approach to diagnosis and management, so I had to refer them to some other center. So that struck me that I still need more knowledge and skills. And I what I felt was that the skilled manpower is really lacking in a sector like Nepal, and considering the large number of or the high burden of cancer patients, so that struck me that I should fill that gap in both knowledge and skills. So that's the reason why I chose medical oncology as a specialty.
And you have had various international exposures. You have been trained and collaborated in various international renowned cancer centers like Princess Margaret Cancer Center, and also have had various experiences in global fellowships. So having all of these international exposures, how do you think have helped you and shaped you in your practice here in Nepal?
Okay. So oncology is a very challenging subject when it comes to the bench and the bedside in treating the patients, because the guidelines and the protocols, it keeps on changing and it keeps on updating every month. So getting an exposure from the Princess Margaret Cancer Center, which is a world-renowned cancer center, so I got to see a lot of patients that has actually received the standard treatment as per the protocol, as per the guidelines, which we cannot copy exactly in our settings because of the cost issues and because of many other factors are there. So it has helped me know what the standard practice looks like, and the outcomes of the treatment and the management and the complications, which I never have seen or encountered in my patients here. So it has actually helped me in implementing those standard guidelines, but revising and modifying from our perspective. I mean, I adopted those guidelines, but then modified as per the practice and as per the resources here in Nepal. So that has helped me in managing the patients. Also, it's a collaborative effort. So I got to know the world-renowned experts from there. So whenever I have difficult cases that really needs discussion and consensus, so the experts from there, we do the weekly tumor board every Sunday with the ASCO, that is American Society of Clinical Oncology Health Volunteer Overseas Experts, every Sunday. So we put the difficult cases, and also it's also a learning opportunities, like every weekly it happens. So that's another important thing that has helped me in managing the patients as well. And apart from that, with the collaboration, we have also organized the teaching learning schedule for the residents or for other healthcare professionals, and that is another important opportunities that I have. Apart from that, getting collaboration with two World Cancer Collaboration, where the experts on palliative and hospice care specialists who recently also visited our institution, so that has helped me know the another important aspects of oncology, which is palliative and hospice care. So in that way, it has helped me build up the team within the institution as well as collaboration with them, and helped me elaborate and increased the team over here in managing the patients.
So overall, apart from all of those knowledge you have right now, you have also learned about palliative and hospice care, which has ultimately helped you made a team and be there for more effectively heal your patients. So now my next question is, you have achieved a lot of prestigious recognitions and awards. So among all of those awards and recognitions, which one do you think is most important and has carries much more meaning in your life, and why do you think so?
Like I already expressed that I always do my job and I give my 100% in whatever I do, and I never expect for the outcome. So whatever awards that I received was actually the outcome of my own effort. So those awards that I received was in different phases of my career path. Like most of the awards I received when I was still doing my DM medical oncology residency, my fellowships at NAMS Beer Hospital. So the first award that I received was the ASCO Merit Award for the research which I did in a research limited settings, and that got a recognition. So at that time what I thought was that no research ideas is small or big. So even the small ideas that makes a difference, huge difference in the community or in a research limited settings, has a great impact in the community and at the national level and globally as well. And that's why I got the recognition. The study was the comparison between the haloperidol and olanzapine. Those are the very common drugs, but in management of chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting, the idea seems very like normal, or it's very simple idea, but then that got recognition, and that helped me get motivated more on doing more research. So that's the important steps. And again, getting an award with UIC's Technical Fellowship Award, which I received when I was doing my DM Medical Oncology. So that's the time, that's the point when I got an opportunity to visit Princess Margaret Cancer Center, and then got to visit all the experts there. And since then the collaboration is still there. Even after passing my medical oncology residency, it's here, and it will continue in the future as well. So then after that, another important award which I received was ASCO Global Oncology Young Investigator Award, which I received while I'm working here at BPKIHS. So it's for the breast cancer research. The idea was very simple, that on my day-to-day clinical practice, I encountered all the Mongolians at their very early age getting breast cancer in very late stage. And when I asked the family history, they have a significant family history, like a lot of family members had multiple cancers in their family, but we didn't know what was the reason behind. So that idea got into the proposal writing, and then I collaborated with the Princess Margaret Cancer Center, and then sent the blood from here and looked into the genes of them. And then what we found was, like, there were a lot of BRCA mutations. Apart from that, there were various other pathogenic gene mutations that leads to the familial breast cancer, mostly in the Mongolians. So this is another important outcome that I received through the award. So no recognition was like small or big, it has got their own importance. So I hope I answered your questions.
So no matter big or small, all of those achievements added much more meaning in your life.
Exactly.
I would be going back again to the Princess Margaret Center. You have exposure of all of those international exposures in Princess Margaret Cancer Center and all of the international and global fellowships as well. Did you ever have a feeling of staying abroad and choosing your career there, leaving Nepal in no time, or what ultimately, if so, what ultimately made you choose to stay and keep through your journey in Nepal?
Okay, this is like heart-touching questions for me. So since my childhood, I always wanted to help people, okay, and help my own people. And I'm grown up in a family where my mom was a nurse, and she was a government job holder, and she had a lot of transfers, like in the government job she had to go out of valley very frequently, and we used to and I along with my siblings had to travel with her. And I got an opportunity to see a lot of patients outside valley in the remote areas as well, the underprivileged patients. And then I got an idea, like how my mom was helping those patients, and I think I followed her path. And then I realized, anyways, if there is any opportunity or any way I can help them, then I should help them. So uh, going having like international visits, it never encountered in my mind that I would stay abroad. I had an opportunity to do the fellowship in Canada, Princess Margaret Cancer Center, but I denied that. because I never wanted to live abroad. I always wanted to help the underprivileged people here in Nepal and address the global health disparities or fill the gap. So I always wanted to like fill the gap, and that's the reason why I'm here.
That is incredible to hear. And let's bring it back to home, Nepal. Nepal is a place where cancer is almost diagnosed in a late stage. And having all of this experience, what is the most common cancer that you have diagnosed here in people of Nepal, especially in women? And what are the commonly faced problem by patients as well as doctor in Nepal?
Cancer, when I was in Kathmandu, I used to see a lot of lung cancer patients along with colorectal and breast cancer. But while working here in the eastern Nepal, I have encountered a lot of breast cancer followed by colorectal malignancies, and in women particularly the breast and ovarian malignancy is quite more here. That's contrary to the Kathmandu Valley, where I used to see a lot of lung cancer, but lung cancer is, I don't know, somehow it's not that high in comparison to those malignancies. And here, most of the patients, they present either at stage 3 or stage 4, that is a late stage disease. So the challenges that I have encountered is the lack of awareness, because most of the women, they tend to hide their disease. They have these stigmata issues also. They think that cancer is because of their past life, like sin or something like that, and the family members also look like that. Even the communities have similar impressions on this disease. So that's the reason why they present late. Also, the other causes nowadays, what I have found is that the younger the age, the advanced the disease. So probably the genetic mutations or the familial genes, somewhere we are missing that etiology. Though the study has not been done in large areas, I already mentioned that the study is being done in the breast cancer, and we have some result with that also. So that's another problem. So in terms of like awareness and presenting at the late stage, hiding the disease, social stigmata, and also access to healthcare in the remote areas, and the cost issues and the logistic issues, the Nepalese landscape, or the geographical distribution of the Nepal, how the Nepal is made up. So those are all the factors that has made them present at the later stage.
So we can see that oncology is still lagging behind due to the social stigmatization and lack of awareness. So I would also like to add, as you have already told, the care setting here in Nepal and in abroad, there is a huge difference between them, and also due to the lack of awareness and also due to the lack of sometimes resources and awareness, they both can be limited. So first of all, why did you choose to be in medicine? And secondly, why in Nepal?
Okay, that's the tough questions. So medicine, I already mentioned that in the environment that I'm brought up, my mom was a nurse. My elder sister is also a nurse, and so that's the. And since my childhood, I have been visiting her hospitals and going here and there. But I would like to share one very interesting story. When I was in class 4, probably 4 or 5, we have a general knowledge GK subject, right? And there we have to learn the abbreviations. So there was abbreviation for MBBS, and which stands for Bachelor in Medicine and Bachelor in Surgery, and which I found very difficult. And why the like B comes ahead, though the abbreviation starts with the M. So that's and then I used to ask my mom and siblings that, so what is this subject like? I used to think uh, at that time there was we had a king of Nepal. So I used to ask her that, has the king studied up to MBBS, because this is such a big degree. So the highest authority would have studied this I mean choose this profession. And then my mom used to laugh and smile and said that, so you should learn MBBS, you should be an MBBS doctor. And gradually then I think that hit me, uh, like if somehow I get an opportunity, then I would learn, I would take a subject with MBBS and then study. That's just like small story when I was a child. But choosing a medicine was it's because of my family background, and I always wanted to help the people. So I thought like being in a medicine, I can help a lot of patients, curing their illness, curing their disease. So that's the reason probably I choose to medicine somehow.
That was an amazing story to hear. So yes, the full form of MBBS, it also used to make me curious why the B is already in front. I would also like to add that Dr. Dulal has published over 25 peer-reviewed articles, which is an incredible thing. So, as we have already told, you are compassionate about research as well. So, what are your other plans and areas of interest for research, and how do you think will that researches and all of those articles that you published will be helping people here in Nepal?
Thank you for the difficult question again. uh, so talking about the research, I already said that no research idea is small or big, and being in a country like Nepal, um, I think I'm always interested in translational research, like converting, trying to translate the knowledge, the bookish knowledge or the lab knowledge into the clinical practice, that what we do in day-to-day life. And also the community-based research, that's very important in our setup. So I'm interested in terms of areas or the sites. I'm interested in the breast, and that's what I'm doing now. And apart from that, the colorectal cancers. Why the young people, like in the age of 20s here in Eastern Nepal, are getting advanced colorectal cancers? That's another question. That's another thing that is striking in my mind. And what could be other etiologies apart from the genes? Is there anything that we can prevent or control their disease earlier, or break the natural history of the disease before they present at the later stage? So that's another thing. And I also love to do the community based research, means like involving or collaborating with the community people, the community health care professionals, and trying to find out the epidemiology or the etiology, what are the risk factors in terms of malignancies. So those are my interests.
So I wish all the best for all of your plans regarding the research, and I hope that gets succeed and somehow bring an impact in Nepal as well. We talked about our journeys and achievements and everything. So now let's get deviated a bit from our journey and talk about much more earlier time. This is a very famous question of asking, and why not asking you? If not medicine, which profession do you think you would have been having your expertise on, or which profession do you think you would be, being much more passionate, like you are passionate right now regarding medicine?
uh, Maybe like I always loved helping people and trying to be in their position and then realize how they are feeling. So if not medicine, then probably I would be some social service sector and then serving the people somewhere in a remote area. I still like dream of going to the remote area, which I have not got an opportunity because of my family priorities. So maybe in some future I will be serving the people more there rather than in a city area like here. So probably the social service sector. And another thing, while I'm getting busy in my professional work, sometimes I really have to give very little time to my family. And somewhere I feel like if I was a housewife taking care of my kids, my family members, husband, like making a delicious food. I'm also like my hobby is cooking, though I don't make very delicious food, but I love cooking. So maybe that is another area, being a very good housewife and a very good cook at home.
That was a very interesting answer coming from you. So, as you have already told, you wanted to help people as a child. So, Again, I would like to ask, was exactly becoming a doctor only was your dream growing as a child, or was there any other, any sector regarding helping the people, you have already mentioned earlier, was there any kind of other dream that you experienced or you wanted to explore as growing up as a child?
As a child, my first aim was to become a policeman. Whenever I used to see the movie, and especially the female police holding a gun and shooting the like enemies, or what to say, dakus. I used to dream like if I were a police and wearing those dress. So then, because as a child, the dreams keep on changing, right? So, and at one point of time, I used to play a badminton with my siblings, and then at that time, if I was a player, so that was another dream that kept changing. And then my elder sister, she was a nurse, and then I also had a thought of becoming a nurse. And then fourth, when I like my mom used to say like, I'm a nurse, your sister is a nurse, you should be a doctor. And I used to encounter my childhood memory of trying to remember MBBS. So that's how my dream kept on changing. So I think
I
that's
can
the answer.
imagine you being a policeman right now. So,
And
now that
also I also wanted to become an advocate, like the female lawyers and advocating for other people. So probably like wearing a black coat and all that also used to, like I used to get very much impressed with the attire. So that's another dream as a child.
um, now that you are already a doctor, renowned doctor, if you ever had a time or a chance to meet your younger self, normally, usually a phase where you just started your MBBS journey, what would be that one advice you would be giving to your younger self?
Okay, it's like the question is like, what if you are given a chance to time travel? Anything you would like to change, kind of. यो चाहिँ मलाई नेपालीमै भन्न मन लाग्छ है। अब म एमबिबिएस हुँदाखेरि अहिले यसो सोच्दाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले रियलाइज गर्दाखेरि बिङ विथ द फ्यामिली, बिङ विथ द किड्स होइन, अनि अब यो एजमा त्यति बेलै बिहा गरेको भए पनि हुन्थ्यो कि त्यति बेला अब फ्यामिली कम्प्लिट गरेको भएदेखि अहिलेसम्म मेरो बच्चाहरू पनि झन्डै झन्डै मभन्दा ठुलो अलिक टिन एज भइसकेका हुन्थ्यो होला। अनि त्यसपछि यति बेला म पनि उनीहरू सँगसँगै जहाँ मन लाग्छ त्यहाँ घुम्न पाउँथेँ होला। अनि अघि मैले मेन्सन गरेँ जस्तै रिमोट एरियामा गएर अहिले सर्भ गर्न पाउँथेँ होला जस्तो चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ मलाई त्यो एउटा कुरा पनि रियलाइज हुन्छ, भनेको लाइक म्यारिज एज अ फिमेल बिहा गर्ने अनि त्यसपछि फ्यामिली कम्प्लिट गर्ने, इट्स के भने दिस हेज टु बी देयर होइन, यो ध्रुव सत्य कुरा नै हो, त्यो हुनै पनि पर्छ। अब यसलाई जोक्स भन्ने कि के भने, जोक्स अपार्ट, यो साँच्चीकै यो पनि मलाई फिल भएको कुरा हो। आफ्नो फ्यामिली चाहिँ एउटा पोइन्टमा चाहिँ कम्प्लिट गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ, करियर सँगसँगै फ्यामिलीलाई पनि अलिक चाँडै चाँडै नै लान पाएको भए हुन्थ्यो भन्ने छ एउटा चाहिँ। अनि अर्को चाहिँ एज एमबिबिएस स्टुडेन्ट त्यो बेलामा फर्केर हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मैले, किनभने एमबिबिएस फेज भनेकै एकदम कन्फ्युजन स्टेटमा हुने खालको फेज हो। अब जस्तो सर्जरी पोस्टिङ भयो, सर्जन बन्न मन लाग्ने, एनेस्थेसियामा पोस्टिङ भयो होइन, एकदम एनेस्थेसियोलोजिस्ट हुन मन लाग्ने, पिडियामा पिडियाट्रिसियन। सो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि आफ्नो गोल के हो भनेर चाहिँ थाहा नै हुँदैन त्यति बेला। इन्टर्नसिपमा अर्कै हुन्छ, अनि मेडिकल अफिसर हुँदाखेरि फेरि अर्कै चेन्ज भइरहेको हुन्छ होइन। तर अब त्यो एमबिबिएसमा हामीले सब्जेक्ट्सहरू पढ्दाखेरि नै समहाउ मेरो इन्ट्रेस्ट के हो भनेर आफ्नो इन्ट्रेस्ट एरियालाई चाहिँ त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ समहाउ पक्र्न सक्यो भनेदेखि चाहिँ, किनभने अन्कोलोजी एमबिबिएस हुँदाखेरिसम्म पनि मलाई अन्कोलोजीको चाहिँ एक्सपोजर पनि थिएन। यु पिपल आर रियली लकी द्याट यु हेभ गुड एक्सपोजर होइन, अनि अन्कोलोजिस्टलाई पनि भेट्न पाउनु भयो। हाम्रोमा त डेभिड शर्मा अन्कोलोजीको च्याप्टर्सहरू सबै स्किप्ड नै हुन्थ्यो, अनि हामी खासै पढ्दा पनि पढ्दैनथ्यौँ। इभन पिजी इन्टरनल मेडिसिन गर्ने बेलामा पनि अन्कोलोजी एक्सपोजर हुँदैन थियो, त्यही भएर मलाई अन्कोलोजीको एरिया एकदमै थाहा हुँदैन थियो। पछि एज अ प्रोफेसनल लाइफमा आएपछि मात्रै चाहिँ त्यो एरिया चाहिँ मेरो एकदम ग्याप रहेछ भनेर फिल भयो, त्यति बेला रियलाइज भयो। तर एज एन एमबिबिएस त्यति बेलामै मलाई आफ्नो इन्ट्रेस्ट अफ एरियाज थाहा हुन सक्यो भनेदेखि चाहिँ त्यसैलाई फोकस्ड भएर चाहिँ लाग्न सकिन्थ्यो होला जस्तो चाहिँ फिल हुन्छ। सो एउटा चाहिँ त्यो फोकस्ड, अनि आफ्नो सेट इन एरियाजहरू चाहिँ इन्ट्रेस्ट अफ एरियाजहरूलाई चाहिँ आफूले लेखेर राख्ने अनि गोल्स जुन हुन्छ हामीले चाहिँ अब हेर्दै जाउँ के होला भन्ने खालको त्यस्तो खालको अलिक नयाँ जेनेरेसनमा चाहिँ त्यो खालको पर्सेप्सन पनि देखेको छु मैले चाहिँ सो रादर देन त्यस्तो पर्सेप्सन मेरो अबको सर्ट टर्म गोल के हो अनि लङ टर्म गोल के हो आफू नेपालमै बस्ने हो कि अथवा चाहिँ अब्रोड जाने हो त्यो कुरा पनि अलिकति अगाडि नै क्लियर भयो आफू क्ल्यारिटीमा बस्यो भनेदेखि चाहिँ फोकस्ड हुन्छ यहाँ भएन भने यो गर्छु यो भएन भने त्यो गर्छु भन्नुभन्दा चाहिँ त्यो आफूले चाहिँ एउटा गोल चाहिँ सेट गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई सर्ट र लङ टर्म त्यस पछाडि त्यो गोल सेट गरेपछि आफूले काम गर्ने हो अनि हेर त्यसमा 100% दिएपछि केही न केही राम्रो आउटकम आउँछ नै पहिला आफूले गर्दै जान्छु भयो होला नभयो होला नहोला भनेर त्यसरी सोच्नुभन्दा चाहिँ गोल चाहिँ सेट गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई त्यो एउटा चाहिँ चेन्ज हुन्थ्यो होला रादर देन मेरो चाहिँ इन्ट्रेस्ट एरिया चेन्ज हुँदै 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 आएको तर अहिले आएर चाहिँ मलाई रियलाइज भयो दिस इज वाट एक्ज्याक्टली आई वान्ट इट टु बी भनेर सो सबैजना एज एन एमबिबिएस त्यति बेलादेखि थाहा भएको भएदेखि चाहिँ अझ धेरै एक्सप्लोर गर्थ्यौँ होला कि भन्ने चाहिँ लाग्छ
So यो एडभाइस चाहिँ आफ्नो यङ्गर सेल्फलाई मात्र नभएर अल अफ दोज मेडिकल स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूको लागि पनि भयो टु स्टे फोकस्ड you have told this was what I was meant for भनेर भन्नुभयो सो आई वुड लाइक टु एड यसमा चाहिँ नेपालमै आएर चाहिँ अन्कोलोजिस्ट बन्नको लागि चाहिँ डु यु थिङ्क दिस इज वाट यु वर मेन्ट फर अनि यतिमै रोकिँदा हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ कि डु यु थिङ्क देयर आर फर्दर गोल्स द्याट आर कलिङ यु अल्सो
No, I think I'm not going to stop here. This is just a beginning, right? मैले त भर्खर करियरको स्टार्ट मात्रै गरिरहेको छु एन्ड आई हेभ देयर आर लट अफ एरियाज जस्तो प्रिभेन्सनमा काम गरेकै छैन होइन अन्कोलोजीमा अहिले पेसेन्टहरू आउँदा सबै एडभान्स स्टेजमै आइरहेको छ एन्ड आई एम नट बिङ एबल टु गिभ देम स्ट्यान्डर्ड केयर मैले गाइडलाइन्स फलो गरेर प्रोटोकल फलो गरेर भन्दा पनि उहाँहरूको चाहिँ पकेट हेरेर ट्रिटमेन्ट गर्नु परिरहेको हुन्छ कति पैसा इट्स लाइक बार्गेनिङ जस्तो हुन्छ कहिलेकाहीँ आफूलाई सपकिपर हो कि जस्तो पनि फिल हुन्छ तपाईँसँग ट्रिटमेन्ट प्याकेज जस्तो हुन्छ मेरो चाहिँ अब नम्बर 1 अप्सन्स यो छ नम्बर 2 यो छ नम्बर 3 यो छ कुन चाहिँ गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ भनेर त्यसरी गर्नु परिरहेको छ सो यो एडभान्स स्टेजमा आउनै नदिनको लागि चाहिँ बरु के गर्न सकिन्छ किनभने कस्ट अफ ट्रिटमेन्ट इज सो हाई एन्ड हाम्रो पेसेन्ट्सहरूले दे क्यानट अफोर्ड द स्ट्यान्डर्ड ट्रिटमेन्ट सो त्यो स्टेजमा अथवा क्यान्सरै हुन नदिनको लागि चाहिँ वाट आर द अदर स्टेप्स होइन त्यो त मैले कम्युनिटीमा रुट लेभलमा गएर नै काम गर्नुपर्ने छ सो द्याट्स वाट आई निड टु वर्क एउटा त्यो भयो अर्को भनेको चाहिँ यही एडभान्स्ड अनि एन्ड अफ लाइफ स्टेज भएको पेसेन्टहरूको चाहिँ जुन डिग्निफाइड दे हेभ राइट्स टु डिग्निटी एकदम डिग्निटी लाइफ एन्ड डिग्निफाइड डेथ हुन पनि जरुरी छ सो त्यो एकदमै ल्याकिङ छ एट द एन्ड अफ देयर लाइफ पेसेन्टको केयर गिभरहरू जुन फेजमा गुज्रेको हुन्छ त्यो कुरालाई एड्रेस गर्न सकेको छैनौँ एज एन अन्कोलोजिस्ट सो आई निड टु वर्क इन द्याट हस्पिटल एन्ड प्यालिटिभ केयर एन्ड द प्रिभेन्टिभ केयर एज वेल त्यो दुइटा अलिक स्ट्रङ भयो भने चाहिँ मैले ट्रिटमेन्ट गर्ने पोर्सन स्ट्यान्डर्ड केयर दिने काम चाहिँ अलिकति हल्का हुन्थ्यो होला अनि देन आई क्यान वर्क इन अ पोलिसी लेभल लाइक कुन चाहिँ कस्ट अफ ट्रिटमेन्टलाई कसरी चाहिँ घटाउने बिरामीहरूलाई अफोर्डेबल ट्रिटमेन्ट कसरी बनाउने एक्सेस टु हेल्थ केयर कसरी बनाउने भनेर इन द पोलिसी मेकिङमा पनि सो देयर आर लट अफ एरियाज आई निड टु वर्क अनि अहिले म सिटी एरियामा मात्रै छु भने जस्तो मलाई रिमोटमा गएर काम गर्न मन छ
So your passion regarding your job and career has truly mesmerized me. It has truly touched me. Let's get a little deeper. So oncology is really hard, as we have already told. बाहिरको र अहिलेको हेर्दाखेरि केयर सेटिङ नेपालमा र बाहिरको हेर्दाखेरि धेरै डिफरेन्सेस छ अनि कहिलेकाहीँ यु हेभ टु कहिलेकाहीँ मात्र होइन मोस्ट अफ द टाइम यु हेभ टु वर्क एन्ड बी देयर फर पेसेन्ट इन द मोस्ट हार्डेस्ट टाइमहरूमा पनि हुनुपर्छ सो बिङ अ ट्रु हिलर पनि हाउ डु यु टेक केयर अफ योर इमोसनल वेलबिङ एज वेल आफ्नो पनि इमोसनल वेलबिङलाई चाहिँ कसरी सँगसँगै लिएर जानुहुन्छ
सबै क्वेसन्स कति डिफिकल्ट छ है बिङ एन अन्कोलोजिस्ट पेसेन्ट मात्रै नभएर पेसेन्टको केयर गिभर्स अनि हेर सिन्स द टाइम अफ डायग्नोसिस टिल दे डाई त्यति मात्रै नभएर उनीहरूको बिरिभमेन्ट पिरियडसम्म जानुपर्ने यो चाहिँ लाइक एज एन अन्कोलोजिस्ट दिस इज डिफ्रेन्ट फ्रम अदर अक्युट मेडिसिन होइन अनि त्यो गर्दै गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ रियली समटाइम्स getting emotionally with them is deeply meaningful, and at times it's emotionally overwhelming as well. सुरुमा यो प्रोफेसनमा आउँदाखेरि इभन डिएम मेडिकल अन्कोलोजी गरिराख्दाखेरि कतिचोटि त म घरमा आएर रुन्थेँ पनि अनि खाना खानै मन नलाग्ने, अनि त्यस पछाडि त्यही बिरामीकै बारेमा मात्र दिमागमा आउने, कसरी चाहिँ अब के हुन्छ होला त्यो बिरामी, उसको सानो सानो बच्चाहरूलाई के हुन्छ होला भनेर घरमा मैले सेयरहरू पनि गरिराख्थेँ। अनि अब त्यो गर्दै गर्दाखेरि त एज अ केयर, म पनि त एउटा केयर गिभर हो नि त, अनि त्यो भएपछि त भोलिपल्ट फेरि काममा आउँदाखेरि त्यो पेसेन्टलाई देख्नै नपरे हुन्थ्यो जस्तो खालको फिलिङ्स पनि हुन्थ्यो। अब त्यो भनेको त अभोइड गर्न मन लाग्ने जस्तो पनि हुन्थ्यो। देन विथ टाइम वाट आई लर्न इज, यो भनेको चाहिँ विथ टाइम काम गर्दै गएपछि चाहिँ एउटा मच्युरिटी चाहिँ आउने रहेछ, इमोसनली स्ट्रङ बनाउन पनि हेल्प गर्छ। अनि त्यस पछाडि अब आई हेभ टु, यो त मेरो जब नै भयो, जब मात्रै नभएर आई एम इन्टु इट होइन। अब यो टिल आई डाई आई हेभ टु डु दिस एभ्री डे, एभ्री मर्निङ, एभ्री नाइट, जति बेला पनि मैले त्यस्तै बिरामी मात्रै नै हेर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। सो देन अब चाहिँ मैले इट्स पार्ट अफ माई लाइफ, एन्ड जब पनि त्यस्तो खालको पेसेन्टहरू देख्छु म, वाट आई रियलाइज इज हाउ मेरो आफ्नो लाइफसँग कम्पेयर गर्छु, अनि यसले चाहिँ मलाई इट हेज रियली मेड मी एक्सप्रेस ग्रेटिट्युड द्याट हाउ प्रिभिलेज्ड आई एम, उनीहरूलाई हेल्प गर्न पाइराखेको छु मैले होइन। अनि त्यसपछि म आफू जुन ठाउँमा छु, किनभने अझ पनि मान्छेहरू सानो सानो कुरामा दे आर सो अनह्याप्पी विथ द्याट, सानो सानो प्रब्लम्सहरू आउँदाखेरि पनि, अथवा प्रब्लम सानो ठुलो भन्ने त हुँदैन, इट्स आफ्नो पर्सेप्सनको कुरा हो, एन्ड इट्स लाइक रिलेटिभ होइन, केसँग कम्पेयर गरेर सानो भन्ने, केसँग कम्पेयर गरेर ठुलो भन्ने हुन्छ। तर हरेक प्रब्लमसँग चाहिँ जुझ्नको लागि चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ मलाई मोटिभेट गरेको छ। सो त्यसलाई चाहिँ मैले पोजिटिभ वेमा चाहिँ लिने गरेको छु। अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ जहिले पनि एउटा बााउन्ड्री चाहिँ क्रिएट गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ भनेर पनि, द्याट्स वाट आई लर्न। जस्तो मैले प्रोफेसनल्ली हुँदाखेरि जुन खालको इमोसनल ओभरवेल्म भइरहेको हुन्छ, त्यही क्यारी गरेर मैले घरमा लगेँ भनेदेखि त आई हेभ अनदर प्रायोरिटी देयर, मेरो सानो बच्चाहरू छ, एन्ड माई फ्यामिली, माई हस्बेन्ड इज देयर होइन, मेरो आफ्नो पेरेन्ट्सहरूसँग, फेरि उनीहरूसँग त्यो दुइटै मिक्स्ड भयो भनेदेखि त it's very difficult for me to carry out my responsibilities. So I always try to keep that healthy boundaries between my professional and personal life. Number 1 त्यो। नम्बर 2 भनेको चाहिँ मैले, यसले चाहिँ मलाई अझ रियलाइज गराएको छ लाइक आफू कहाँ छु भनेर, एन्ड मलाई मोटिभेट पनि गरेको छ, आई एम बिङ एबल टु हेल्प देम भनेर मलाई अझै मोटिभेट गरेको भएर, त्यसरी चाहिँ आई ट्राई टु ब्यालेन्स माई इमोसनल वेलबिङ। एन्ड मोस्ट अफ द टाइम आई सेयर यो सबै कुराहरू चाहिँ फ्यामिलीमा पनि कतिपय कुराहरू चाहिँ म सेयर गर्छु, सो द्याट इट विल हेल्प देम मोटिभेट पोजिटिभ वेमा, फेरि नेगेटिभ वेमा होइन, कि यस्तो यस्तो खालको पेसेन्टहरू पनि हुन्छ, उनीहरूको फ्यामिली, उनीहरूको लाइफमा यस्तो यस्तो भइरहेको छ भनेपछि उनीहरूको त्यो छ भनेदेखि त मेरो त केही पनि होइन रहेछ भनेर, यसले चाहिँ हिल गर्न, आफ्नो सेल्फ यो जुन प्रब्लम्सहरूलाई हिल गर्नलाई पनि चाहिँ हेल्प गर्छ। सो पोजिटिभ वेमा चाहिँ लिनुपर्छ, नेगेटिभ वेमा चाहिँ लिनु हुँदैन जस्तो लाग्छ।
सो एउटा हेल्दी बााउन्ड्री बनाउने अनि पोजिटिभ वेमा लिँदाखेरि चाहिँ यु हेभ थ्रु आउट द जर्नी हजुरले चाहिँ इमोसनल वेलबिङलाई त्यसरी लाँदै गर्नुभएको छ। वी हेभ अलरेडी केम टु इन्डतिर आइसक्यौँ हामी चाहिँ पोडकास्टको। इट वाज ट्रुली अनर एन्ड ग्रेटफुल टु हियर यु। लास्टली चाहिँ यु आर अ वन्डरफुल वुमन लिडर इन ओन्कोलोजी इन नेपाल। अनि वाट एडभाइस वुड यु लाइक टु गिभ, अब जो स्पेसली नेपाली वुमेनहरू जो चाहिँ हु आर स्ट्रगलिङ, हु आर जस्ट इनिसियली चाहिँ यो फिल्डमा आउँदै हुनुहुन्छ, अथवा जसले चाहिँ हु हेभ आइडिया यो ओन्कोलोजी फिल्डमा आउनुपर्छ भन्ने आइडिया भएको नेपाली वुमेनहरूलाई चाहिँ, स्टुडेन्टहरूलाई बेसिकली के चाहिँ एडभाइस दिन चाहिँ चाहनुहुन्छ?
वुमनलाई मात्रै?
वुमेनलाई स्पेसली, किन भन्दाखेरि यु आर इन्सपिरेसन फर मेरी नेप्लिज वुमेन। अहिले पनि नेपालमा चाहिँ अब त्यो स्टिगमेटाइजेसनहरू पनि छन्, त्यही कारणले गर्दाखेरि बिङ अ लिडर नेपाली वुमेनहरूलाई चाहिँ मेन एडभाइस चाहिँ के हुन्छ?
Thank you for the question. So being a woman has lot of responsibilities, and in both gender there are a lot of responsibilities, तर अलिकति इमोसनल वाला कुराहरूमा चाहिँ वुमन आर अलिकति डिफ्रेन्ट जस्तो लाग्छ। त्यो साँचो पनि होला होइन अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ मैले भनिहालेँ अलिकति फ्यामिली प्रायोरिटिजहरू फरक अभियसली फरक नै पर्छ एज अ वुमन अनि जस्तो फ्यामिलीको कम्प्लिसनको कुरा अनि वर्क लाइफ ब्यालेन्सको कुरा किड्स यो बच्चा यताउति सबै कुराहरू ब्यालेन्स गरेर अनि आफ्नो करियरलाई पनि इक्वलाइज गर्दै गर्दै लाँदाखेरि चाहिँ मैले आफ्नो यो नयाँ जेनेरेसन्सहरूलाई चाहिँ के भन्छु भनेदेखि एज एन अन्कोलोजी प्रोफेसन एकदम च्यालेन्जिङ हो अनि बट कतिजनालाई चाहिँ अब यो त्यति रिवार्डिङ हो जस्तो लाग्दैन होला तर रिवार्डिङ भन्ने चिज पनि इट्स अ रिलेटिभ निको पारेर घर पठाउनु इज रिवार्डिङ हो कि अथवा चाहिँ सेटिस्फाइड बनाएर घर पठाउनु अथवा जसलाई हेल्थ पुगेको छैन जसलाई चाहिँ जुन केयरको ल्याकिङ भइरहेको ठाउँमा चाहिँ आफूले त्यसमा त्यो ग्याप्सलाई फिल गरेर चाहिँ बिरामीहरूको एउटा के भन्ने त्यसलाई एउटा हेल्पिङ ह्यान्ड्स बन्न सक्नु त्यो पनि एउटा रिवार्डिङ नै हो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ मोर रिवार्डिङ लाग्छ निको पारेर घर पठाउनु र कुनै पनि बिरामीसँग चाहिँ डायग्नोसिसको फेजदेखि एन्डसम्म अनि इभन इन द बिरिभमेन्ट पिरियडमा पनि उसको हर हमेसा साथ दिइराख्न पाउनु त्यो फेजमा चाहिँ जुन बिरामीहरूले एउटा कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन गरिरहेको हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ एकदमै टचिङ हुन्छ अनि त्यसपछि द्याट मोटिभेट्स मोर एन्ड मोर सो अन्कोलोजी इज रियली अ रिवार्डिङ सब्जेक्ट यसमा क्योर नै नहुने होइन पहिला पहिला चाहिँ क्यान्सर इन्क्योरेबल डिजिज भनेर भन्थ्यो अहिले त कति धेरै रिसर्चहरू कति धेरै प्र्याक्टिसहरू क्लिनिकल म्यानेजमेन्टमा फर्को मारिसकेको छ सो इट्स रियली अ रिवार्डिङ प्रोफेसन अनि एज अ वुमन लाइक स्टिगमाटाको कुराहरू गर्नुभयो सो यसको लागि चाहिँ रियली फ्यामिली सपोर्ट अनि त्यसपछि आफ्नो कलिग्सहरूको सपोर्ट आफ्नो टिम सपोर्ट इज भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट अनि मेन्टल वेलबिङ इज भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट है त अहिलेको नयाँ जेनेरेसनमा चाहिँ सो कुनै पनि कुराले चाहिँ हामी अघि भनिहालेँ मैले अन्कोलोजीमा आएपछि चाहिँ लाइफलाई हेर्ने पर्सपेक्टिभ नै चेन्ज हुन्छ देयर इज नो डाउट अनि त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ देयर इज नथिङ कल लाइक मेलले गर्न सक्ने फिमेलले गर्न नसक्ने भन्ने त्यस्तो कुनै पनि कुरा नै छैन होइन यो वर्ल्डमा चाहिँ त्यही भएर वी बोथ आर इक्वल अहिले त्यस्तो सबै जेन्डर इक्वालिटीको कुराहरू कन्सेप्टहरू नै आइसकेको छ सो इट्स अप टु यु आफू चेन्ज भयो र आफूले चाहिँ मैले गर्न सक्छु भनेर आफूले एउटा गोल सेटअप गरेको छ भनेदेखि चाहिँ त्यसरी नै आफ्नो वरिपरिको पोजिटिभ इन्भाइरोमेन्ट क्रिएट गर्न सक्यो भनेदेखि चाहिँ आफूले आफ्नो एउटा राम्रो लाइक माइन्डेड टिम पनि बिल्डअप गर्न सकिन्छ अनि जस्तो मेरै इक्जाम्पल दिँदाखेरि म सुरुमा आउँदाखेरि आइएम अलोन अहिले पनि एज एन मेडिकल अन्कोलोजिस्ट बिपिके एजमा अहिले मेडिकल अन्कोलोजिस्ट म मात्रै नै त छु तर मेरो टिम सपोर्ट भनेको यु स्टुडेन्ट्स होइन अन्डर ग्रेजुएट स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू छ एमबिबिएस बिडिएस अनि त्यसपछि नर्सिङ स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू सो वेन एभर आई एम विथ दिस न्यू जेनेरेसन मलाई एकदम अर्कै पोजिटिभ भाइब्स आउँछ रादर देन बिङ विथ माई ओन लाइक करियर पाथको कलिग्सहरू भन्दा पनि सो यसरी चाहिँ टिम बिल्डअप गर्न सकिन्छ अनि आफ्नो कलिग्सहरू पनि त्यसरी नै बनाउने अनि आफ्नो नर्सिङ स्टाफ्सहरू एनी लाइक यो टिम बिल्डअप गर्नको लागि सानो ठुलो भन्ने केही पनि नै हुँदैन वी क्यान वर्क एज अ टिम सो त्यो गर्यो भने र गोल सेटअप गर्यो भने अनि सर्ट टर्म लङ टर्म गोल गरेर यसरी बनायो भनेदेखि चाहिँ स्टेप बाई स्टेप जाँदै गर्दाखेरि आफूले हरेस नखाइकन गर्न सकिन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ सो यु हेभ टु ब्यालेन्स तर आफ्नो मेन्टल वेलबिङ चाहिँ राम्रो हुनुपर्छ द्याट्स वाट आई वान्ट टु टेल
Thank you doesn't feel like enough. Still, thank you so much. I am very grateful actually to have you here for this episode. अनि लास्टली जाँदा जाँदै चाहिँ हाम्रो जो अडियन्स हुनुहुन्छ भ्युवर हुनुहुन्छ जसले चाहिँ हामीले अहिले हेरिराख्नु भएको छ क्यान्सर प्रिभेन्सनको रिगार्डिङमा चाहिँ के चाहिँ प्रिभेन्टिभ मेजर्सहरू चाहिँ बेसिकली चाहिँ अप्नाउन सकिन्छ होला मोस्ट कमनली भनेर चाहिँ छोटो मिठो केही भनिदिनु न
सो सबै एज अ होल लाइक जेनेरेसन्स अल द जेनेरेसन्स अनि हेर अरू सबै जेनरल पिपलहरूको लागि पनि आफ्नो लाइफस्टाइल म्यानेजमेन्ट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेन्ट थिङ यो आहार विहार भन्ने हुन्छ खानपिन अनि त्यस पछाडि आएर एक्सर्साइज अनि जति पनि अहिलेको नयाँ जेनेरेसनहरू चाहिँ एकदम जङ्क फुड अनि त्यसपछि खानेकुराहरू स्किप गर्ने होइन यो ड्रिङ्क कोल्ड ड्रिङ्क्सहरू अथवा स्मोकिङ एल्कोहल यी चिजहरूबाट चाहिँ टाढा रहनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई म आफू चाहिँ एकदम स्ट्रिक्ट भेजिटेरियन हो, तर सबैलाई भेजिटेरियन हुनु भन्न खोजेको त होइन। तर यो जुन एडिटिभ्स, यो कलरफुल थिङ्सहरू जति पनि बजारमा पाउनेहरू हुन्छन् तिनीहरूबाट पनि टाढा बस्नु पर्यो। अरू अरू त मैले भनिहालेँ, स्मोकिङ अल्कोहलको कुराहरू चाहिँ। अनि अर्को इम्पोर्टेन्ट कुरा चाहिँ आफ्नो फ्यामिलीमा एकचोटि चाहिँ डिटेलमा हिस्ट्री लिनु भनेर भन्छु म। मेरो आफ्नै फ्यामिलीको हिस्ट्री पनि मलाई थाहा थिएन अन्टिल एन्ड अनलेस म मेडिकल अन्कोलोजिस्ट नहुन्जेलसम्म। मेरो यता हस्बेन्डको फ्यामिलीपट्टि देयर आर लट अफ फ्यामिली हिस्ट्री। अहिले बल्ल मलाई थाहा हुँदै चाहिँ उसलाई यो रहेछ, उसलाई यो रहेछ, स्क्रिनिङको कति इम्पोर्टेन्ट रहेछ भनेर चाहिँ बल्ल मैले अहिले चाहिँ फिल गरिराखेको छु। सो आफ्नो फ्यामिलीमा पनि कोही कसैको डेथ भएको छ अनएक्सपेक्टेड भने के कारणले भएको थियो होला पहिला भनेर जान्ने। अनि फ्यामिलीमा साँच्चीकै रिस्क फ्याक्टर्सहरू, साँच्चीकै क्यान्सर पेसेन्ट्सहरू कोही छ भनेदेखि चाहिँ आफू पनि त्यो रिस्क ग्रुपमा पर्छु कि भनेर हेर्नु पर्यो। अनि त्यसपछि अन्कोलोजिस्टको सल्लाह अनुसार चाहिँ एकचोटि स्क्रिनिङ चाहिँ गराउनु पर्छ भनेर त्यो पनि सल्लाह दिन चाहन्छु। अनि प्रिभेन्सनको लागि हामीले आफ्नो नलेज र आफ्नो क्यापेसिटीले भएसम्म चाहिँ आफ्नो फ्यामिली, आफ्नो नजिकैको कम्युनिटीलाई चाहिँ यस्तो कुराहरू सेयर गऱ्यौँ भनेदेखि र अरू कुनै साइन्सहरू हुन्छ नि एकदमै, अब यो चाहिँ जेनरल पिपुलको लागि है, दुब्लाउँदै जाने अथवा चाहिँ कतै पनि गाँठागुठीहरू छ होइन, ब्रेस्टमा स्तनमा गाँठागुठीहरू छ अथवा पाठेघर सम्बन्धी कुनै समस्याहरू छ भनेदेखि चाहिँ लुकाएर नबस्ने। यहाँ मैले एकदमै त्यस्तै पेसेन्टहरू धेरै नै देख्ने गरेको छु। सो त्यस्तो छ भनेदेखि चाहिँ नजिकै यहाँ बिपिकेआइएचएस को वरिपरिको बिरामीहरू छ भने त यहीँ आउन सकिहाल्छ। अहिले त पूर्वी नेपालमा कति धेरै अस्पतालहरू नै छ। सो त्यो चाहिँ आफ्नो चिकित्सकसँग चाहिँ चाँडै नै परामर्श लिँदा राम्रो हुन्छ भनेर त्यो पनि एउटा कुरा चाहिँ म भन्न चाहन्छु। र यस्तो प्रिभेन्सनको यो अवेरनेसको क्याम्पेनहरू चाहिँ एज अ स्टुडेन्ट तपाईँहरूले पनि यो स्कुल हेल्थ प्रोग्राम भनेर स्कुलमा गएर अथवा अफिसमा गएर होइन, अनि यस्तै अथवा कुनै पनि सर्टेन ग्रुप्सहरू, फिमेल ग्रुप्स अथवा चाहिँ कुनै प्रोफेसनल ग्रुप्सहरूलाई राखेर त्यसरी तपाईँहरूले दिन सक्नुभयो, जानकारीहरू दिन सक्नुभयो भने चाहिँ त्यो पनि इम्पोर्टेन्ट हो। अनि अर्को मेरो स्क्रिनिङ क्लिनिक भनेर चाहिँ बिपिकेआइएचएसमा एभ्री ट्युजडे मङ्गलबार 11 बजेदेखि 1 बजेसम्म चाहिँ जेनरल टिकट नै काटेर पनि आउन सक्नुहुन्छ। सो यो स्क्रिनिङको बारेमा चाहिँ म यहाँबाट पनि यो मार्फत पनि सबैलाई भन्न चाहन्छु।
Such a wonderful message. Thank you once again, Dr. Dulal. Your insights and compassion has truly touched me, and I'm sure our audience will happen touch gareko cha hola. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me in this very important podcast. It's such a privilege to be here with you.
And to our listeners and audiences, remember, healing भनेको science मात्र होइन, it is a story. So stay curious, stay compassionate, and never stop believing in the power of care. And thank you.